China's automotive development has surged over the past few decades, transforming from a nascent industry into a global automotive powerhouse. The nation has become the world's largest car market, both in terms of manufacture and consumption, reflecting its rapid growing economy and expanding middle class.
In 2023, China's automobile export volume reached 4.91 million units, surpassing Japan to become the world's largest automobile exporting country. Japan had held this position for 8 years, and China? It has successively surpassed South Korea, Germany, and Japan in just the past 3 years. China's car exports were 2.02 million in 2021, 3.11 million in 2022, and 4.91 million in 2023. Why have Chinese automobiles suddenly become so popular, and exactly which countries are purchasing them? What brands and price ranges of Chinese cars are being sold to foreigners? This video will reveal the real data behind China's rise to the top in global car exports. Firstly, what kinds of automobiles make up the 4.91 million units China exported? According to statistics, the top 10 models of Chinese passenger vehicle exports include MG ZS, Tesla Model Y, Chery Tiggo 7, Tesla Model 3, MG HS, Chery Tiggo 5X, and MG 5. Aside from Tesla's Model Y and Model 3, the other models have a domestic guide price of around 100,000 yuan. For example, the guide price for MG ZS from SAIC Motor is between 80,000 to 90,000 yuan, and the cheapest MG5 and Ice Bear models can be had for as low as 60,000 yuan. In conclusion, China's automotive exports are primarily focused on cost-performance ratio. If we look at it by brand, MG occupies the 1st, 5th, and 8th places, while Chery's Tiggo 7 and Tiggo 5X occupy the 3rd, 6th, and 7th places, with both MG and Chery being renowned for their high-cost performance. SAIC Motor's MG brand had a global sales volume of over 840,000 units last year, maintaining its position as the top single brand for Chinese car exports for 5 consecutive years. Chery is also experiencing strong growth. Chery's car exports were 269,200 units in 2021, which rose to 937,000 units in 2023, tripling in 2 years. When categorized by fuel vehicles and new energy vehicles, in 2023, China exported 3.71 million fuel vehicles and 1.2 million new energy vehicles. New energy vehicles accounted for 25% of the export volume. Although this is currently only a quarter of the total, the export growth rate of new energy. So, to which countries are Chinese automobiles exported? In 2023, the top 10 countries for China's automobile exports are Russia with 909,000 units, Mexico with 415,000 units, Belgium with 217,000 units, Australia with 214,000 units, the United Kingdom also with 214,000 units, Saudi Arabia with 213,000 units, the Philippines with 172,000 units, Thailand with 169,000 units, the United Arab Emirates with 159,000 units, and Spain with 139,000 units. Regionally, the European market accounts for 38% of China's automobile exports, far exceeding any other single continent. It is evident that Chinese cars are gaining recognition from more people around the world. Of course, we cannot discuss China becoming the #1 car exporter without mentioning Russia and Mexico. These 2 countries have significantly increased their purchases last year. In 2023, China's car exports to Russia surged from the previous year's 160,000 to 909,000 units, an increase of 468%. In Russia's new car market, the first place belongs to the Russian brand Lada, while the 2nd to 7th places are all occupied by Chinese brands. For example, Chery is in 2nd place with an 11.2% market share, and Haval is in 3rd with a 10.6% market share. The best-selling new energy vehicle in Russia is also from China, G-Krypton, which currently comprises 51% of the new car market in Russia, capturing nearly half the market. For China, exports to Russia alone contributed 42% of the increase in China's car exports in 2023. Some local Russian car dealers even predict that in 2024, Chinese cars might occupy 80% of Russia's new car market share. In Russia's new car market in 2023, the market shares of European, Korean, and Japanese cars have declined. Europe dropped from 18% to 4%, Korea from 16% to 6%, and Japan from 12% to 5%. Certainly, aside from Russia, other countries are also purchasing Chinese vehicles. For example, in Mexico, 25% of all cars sold in the year 203, assuming it's a typo and should be 2023, were Chinese, whereas 6 years ago this number was 0. Australia is also buying Chinese cars, with the well-received Chinese brand MG selling 58,000 units there last year. In the new energy vehicle market, BYD has captured 14% of Australia's new energy vehicle market share, ranking second, while Tesla holds the top spot with a market share of 53%. In the Southeast Asian market, the sales of Chinese automotive companies also saw a modest increase in 2023. Specifically in Thailand, Chinese brands have taken an 80% market share in the performance testing market, with models like BYD's UN Plus emerging as a hot-selling performance car in Thailand. What are the reasons behind the explosive demand for Chinese cars? They can generally be summarized into 3 main factors. First, the outbreak of the global pandemic, due to the completeness of China's automotive supply chain, allowed for a stable market during the pandemic, while exports from Japan and Korea in previous years were impacted by shortages of key raw materials like chips, steel, and rubber. Not only did automobile production capacities decrease, but also costs increased, making Chinese cars a more cost-effective option. The second reason is related to international relations. The situation with Russia became the most significant variable for the market. The nearly 800,000 unit increase in car exports that Russia contributed to China in 1 year can be said to be the strongest engine driving China's auto export growth. The third factor is China's early grab of the new energy vehicle market. With the global trend towards carbon-neutral emissions, new energy vehicles have become a global focus in the past 2 years, and China's new energy vehicles, after years of support, already have a high market competitiveness. For example, the cost per Model 3 produced in China is about 65% lower than that in the United States. The booming variety of China's new energy vehicles is a sight to behold. Moreover, with China's domestic new energy vehicle market becoming increasingly saturated, many Chinese auto companies are going overseas. For instance, BYD entered 58 countries and regions in 2023, exporting 240,000 vehicles, which is 3.34 times that of the previous year. In Thailand's new energy vehicle market, BYD alone has acquired a 40% market share, truly becoming the king of new energy vehicles in Thailand. Furthermore, Chinese new energy vehicles don't just possess a cost advantage. The integration of automobiles with AI and the internet to create smart vehicles is a strong suit for Chinese automakers. From luxury features to large intelligent screens, and from exterior design to interior finishes, the premium capability of these Chinese new energy vehicles has obviously increased. In 2019, the average export price of Chinese new energy vehicles was only $5,000, but by 2022, this had risen to $22,000. For example, when BYD was launched in Europe, the price was nearly 500,000 yuan, more than twice the domestic price. In many countries, including Thailand, Israel, and New Zealand, BYD has also become the sales champion of new energy vehicles. However, the journey of Chinese cars conquering overseas markets is not without its challenges. Historically, the car exports from global automotive powerhouses have typically gone through 3 stages. First, focusing on domestic sales. Second, prioritizing exports. And third, concentrating on overseas production. China is still mostly in the export stage, whereas many car manufacturers from other countries actually build factories in the sales territories, as opposed to exporting vehicles across oceans. It is only in recent years that companies represented by BYD started to establish factories abroad. To truly become globally competitive and manage risks related to policy, trade friction, production costs, and efficiency, a car industry that aims to go global will often adopt a worldwide layout. Just as foreign car manufacturers like Honda, Volkswagen, and BMW chose to partner for local production in China, investing and manufacturing in the local market is not only the current main mode of the automotive industry, but also a crucial way to resolve issues like anti-dumping and subsidy investigation in overseas development. For instance, in 2022, Japanese overseas car factories produced 17 million vehicles, which far exceeds the export figures for Chinese cars. China's automotive industry has a way to go from exporting complete vehicles to exporting its factories. Just adapting products poses many challenges that require collaboration across corporate, logistical, and financial sectors to support overseas expansion and form a business model that includes shared overseas resources. As Chinese cars become more common in the European market, it indicates that the products meet the standards. However, whether China can become a truly strong automobile nation depends on transitioning from simply exporting goods to localizing production in other countries and exploring collective overseas expansion strategies. China's new energy vehicles already have a head start, but the question is whether this advantage can be transformed into a genuine industry moat. For Chinese car manufacturers, the task is monumental and the path is long,